makes me feel whatever. So one day I was walking over here on a microdose, and I don't know if it was more than a microdose, an active dose, and I just was like, man, this energy of this music is just negative and just kind of bringing me in a bad space. Do you feel that with music? Just like where it puts you, what the message you're putting out?
Dude, music, my connection to it is like so primal and deep. Like, I do got to be careful because, like I said, man, I'm a huge, substantial amount of my musical diet is hip hop, and not just hip hop, man. But I listen to a lot of just like straight, like Eric B and Rakim and Mobb Deep and Wu-Tang and Pac and shit like that. And I got to catch myself, man, and not just in the way of like so much of it is based around like how one handles themselves in confrontation. So I start like, okay, so maybe someone cuts me off. If I'm listening to The Dead, I'm probably just like, all right, whatever, I guess that dude's in a hurry. Where it's like, if I'm listening to Pac, I might like zoom up next to him, like, what? It's like I got to check that. But also yeah, dude. Yeah, I think there's not just even positive and negative, but like a lot of, like the hardest thing, even amongst people that freestyle, be like, okay, freestyle, but don't tell me how cool you are. Like that's yeah, dude, you can't, because that's like what it's based in, right? So yeah, I try to be careful and I try to keep it balanced and try to enjoy it from a moral distance and not go full in. But like if I'm going to the gym, it's like
anything goes.
Yeah, fucking all in.
Those weights are gonna get killed.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite old school hip hop artist? If you had to pick one.
If I had to pick one, I firmly believe and stand behind, I think the most underrated and talented lyricists ever is Method Man. As far as like cleverness, lines, metaphors, like the shit that dude spits, it's just like, who are you even? So yeah, Method Man, have to say. But like Tribe, all that shit, man, all that 90s shit is...
All that boom bat?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my shit.
Do you have any artists now that you're super into?
Newer?
Yeah.
Ooh. I really like Hosier. The Bahamas' last record was the shit. You guys check out the Bahamas.
Right.
Their last record was like some of the greatest guitar sounds and songwriting ever. That's all I can think of as far as new shit. Like my friends make pretty dope tunes.
Right on.
What about like Logic or
Love Logic,
yeah.
His last record, like, man, for that kid to go from making like trap style music, because like, it was popular and he's always been sick with the pen, but to come out and just make a boom bap record and then to have a fucking track with Wu-Tang on it, like literally every living member of the Wu-Tang Clan, like if that's not a nod from the culture of like, yeah, we fuck with this kid, like that record for me, and he says it a few times in it, is like, you're top 5, dude. You just strolled on in there.
And he's yoked now.
Yeah, dude. It's funny seeing, dude, Method Man is fucking jacked now too. It's
really?
Like, yeah, man, health is the new fucking, like, that's the thing. It's cool seeing people get on that tip and realize how important it is. Like, for me, I don't think I could do anything that I do without, like, diet and exercise at the forefront of what I'm doing. It's, like, such a huge part of everything. So it's cool seeing that catch on.
Have you always been like that with diet and exercise?
No.
What was the change there?
I don't know, man. A few years ago, one thing was I've always been a skinny dude. But, I remember... not to call my wife, but I remember one time we were watching this YouTube video like 3 years ago or so, and the dude in the video was like super skinny. I was like, man, that motherfucker doesn't look good. And she's like, you're that skinny? And I was like, no, I'm not. She's like, yeah, you are. And I was like, oh, well, shit. So like that was part of it, but just like, I struggled with alcohol and drug addiction for a long time, and then still smoked for a while after that. But once I got all that shit out, I was like, started climbing and skiing and doing all that stuff. But, really when I started going to the grindhouse was when I was like, oh shit, okay, I got to be in shape, and as I get stronger and my cardio gets better, obviously my jiu-jitsu gets better, obviously my Muay Thai gets better. So now it's more of a like, you know, like, yeah, the dudes in my band sometimes are just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I was like, oh, I got to go work out. It was like midnight or something like that. And Ben was like, I don't know why you do this. I'm like, because at some point I'm going to be face-to-face with someone that's going to wish that I skipped a workout. And I'm going to be like, not today, son. Not today. I got it in. But
was there anything that drew you to MMA, like Grindhouse or?
So kind of, you know, like I grew up wrestling. I stopped,
Iowa boy.
Yeah, so I stopped wrestling when I was a freshman. So I had that background, and like I was telling him, part of the reason that I quit was it was just like I wrestled in Iowa, so I was like, I'm not going to college. Like I was all right, but I wasn't a standout wrestler by any means. So about freshman year, I kind of was like, well, what the fuck am I going to do? I'm not going to be a cage fighter. Like these dudes aren't making money. I'm not going to fucking wrestle in college. So I stopped doing it, but we had been working and touring so hard, I had kind of lost any sense of identity. Like I didn't have any hobbies. I didn't have anything outside of music. And I had been saying forever that I was going to go on the Grindhouse and I was just going to get back and like get into boxing, you know. So I went in, and I think I went in 3-4 times and worked with the only other dude in there that just boxed. And I'm like watching all these dudes do jiu-jitsu, and you know, we have a couple dudes in there that have won worlds. And I was like, fuck, all right, you know, I'll give it a go. And then I rolled with Will, my professor that owns the Grindhouse, and I was like, I'm a wrestler, man. There's got to be like some transferable knowledge here. Negative. And I was just, I was amazed at how easily my body was manipulated. It really fucked me up, where I was like, I thought I was going to be able to hang and at least intelligently defend myself. And I was just getting like, yeah, dude, you know, like when you're getting like in open guard and getting like tossed up in the air and then landing in a triangle, and you're like, what the fuck was that, you know? So it's just like, all right, I got to learn it. And I have a really obsessive personality. It's like really a blessing and a curse for me. But I just became obsessed, man. I just like, when I wasn't doing it, I was watching videos, and it stole my life in a great way. And I don't know why it took so long to incorporate. But then now reverse, like I did jiu-jitsu nonstop, obsessively, and then I was like, oh, maybe I'll go back to hands. And now I'm been fucking haunted with striking.
Muay Thai? Yeah.
Yeah. I just get like obsessed with like angles, and it's like all I think about. It's hard. Like trying to have a conversation with my wife. I'm shadow boxing in the kitchen. She's like, come on, dude. You know, like just talk to me for a minute. But yeah, no, I love it, man. I love it, and it's done wonder. Like you were saying, you know, I find the better I get at martial arts, the better I get at navigating life. And you know, like you said, sometimes you know, there's this freedom when you get to navigate the world. Like I always say it like this: at the extreme of human interaction is violence. Like that's 10. So you work back from there. If you're comfortable here, all of the other interactions are pretty tolerable and easy to maneuver in. And like, yeah, like what are you gonna do, man? You gonna hit me? Like that would suck for you. Don't do that. You know. So it's like, if you're comfortable at a 10, if 10 is like playtime, like, oh, I do this all the time, it's my favorite hobby. You work back from that, it's like the rest of shit gets easy. And the way it transfers, like especially jiu-jitsu problem solving, you know, like United lost my fucking guitar last week, and I was
Did
like,
they find it?
They did.
Okay.
But I was like standing in line, and I was just like, oh man, this is just a problem. And like at the extreme outcome, they're like, sorry, you'll never see your guitar again. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I have to get another guitar then. Okay. Where it's like, dude, a year ago I would have been fucking screaming at that lady, you know. So,
Do you feel that helps your music and your writing?
Has to.
Right?
Has to.
Helps everything else.
Yeah, if it helps everything else. Right now I'm trying to find the balance of, like I said, I'm like just super fucking one-track minded, and I'm trying to like, I need to learn how to turn off jiu-jitsu Muay Thai brain and turn off music business brain, and like operate as like a parent and a partner is like something I've been struggling with recently, that I'm recognizing, like, you know, the need to be able to like take the mask off and be like, okay, cool, I'm not this, like I'm just
Dad.
Yes, I'm just dad, I'm just husband right now. So yeah, that's something I'm working on right now.
What do you think the disconnect is there, or the problem?
That I got my blue belt in 10.5 months because of my supreme ridiculous obsession, and I remember everyone when I started was like, oh, I'm going to get my blue belt, less than a year. Everyone was like, no, you're not. That's not how it works.
But I will.
And I remember even my professor was like, dude, I can't give you a blue belt in less than a year. That would look fucked up. And then I went and competed, and he's like, all right. And then music business too, I'm like, my laser focus, like, we've grown faster than most people do, and I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we're just getting started, but it's like there's a high reward to that level of focus. So I need to start putting that level of focus into my family and start reaping those kind of rewards,
Yeah, it's interesting because I find that too, where with certain situations or certain activities, I can be like zeroed in, super focused, balls to the wall, go big or go home, and then other aspects of my life where it's like, why doesn't this carry over into this situation of getting the business to where it needs to be or getting that next client? So I struggle with that myself, where it's like, why
yeah, it's
where's
hard.
the crossover?
Yeah, it's hard too because there's this like, I don't know, I'm just starting to recognize, really, I feel like one thing that training does too is, right, you're never going to, even if you're a Muay Thai master, there's like still holes, even Ben Askren gets put on his ass. So, and I think about that a lot, is like, there's guys like, I mean, fuck, you guys just had Ben Eddy on the podcast, like, dudes get him every once in a while, you know what I mean? So it's like, I've been really taking that mind frame and trying to look at other aspects of my life and try to find the holes, like my big hole in jiu-jitsu is like defending leg locks. Like, I suck at defending leg locks. But in other aspects of my life, like, I'm kind of just starting to see that, like, some of my personality traits that are my greatest assets are also some of my biggest flaws. So it's like, that's the hardest thing ever to deal with. It's like, hey man, this thing that like creates gold for you,
Also your weakness.
it also affects all your personal relationships in kind of a negative way, and like it makes people around you think that you might be autistic. You know what I mean,
dude? I feel you on the your strength and your weakness, dude, and I feel autistic sometimes too, dude. So we can relate. But
it didn't exist when I was in school.
No, dude, and this thing too of like, I kind of have a chip on my shoulder, man, and and I see the way other people operate, and I don't fucking like it, and it makes me angry, so it makes me want to change the way I do things, and I get, my hyper focus sometimes can be on the wrong shit. It can be more on like all of the things that are wrong that need fixing, rather than like, okay, well, let's just double down on this because this is working and it feels good and it's right. I'm always like, but I can't defend leg locks. It's like always what I'm not doing right.
So, not to get off subject, but you just mentioned leg locks. I'm just curious, is it the fear of your shit blown out and not being able to train or have to get surgery which makes you not like leg locks? Because I know that was the problem for me, and then once I kind of got those small little details and realized, hey, all I have to do is clear the knee line and you can't do anything to me, it opened up a whole new world.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I have like fucking PTSD. There's this guy named Lane in our gym. He's like 200 pounds and only does leg locks. Only does leg locks. And he's one of the few people, like, usually people that have a one-dimensional game, I can watch him for a day, watch him for an hour, and be like, there it is. Like, I pride myself on getting to people's backs. It's like if I can get a body triangle on you from, like, if I'm in a closed guard and I get a body triangle, you're fucked. I'm getting on your back. But with him, I can go in and know he's going to leg lock me, and I still can't stop it. And I think there's just so many of the leg entries now are just so abrupt and just like, oh, shit, that it's like, yeah, I've torn my MCL before, so, like, that fear of, like, going belly down to clear the knee line and then pull my leg out. I'm just like, but what if I panic and turn the wrong way, and then I'm just like, oh, there went my knee. I don't know, man. And it's like, it almost keeps me from competing sometimes, too, because I'm just like, shit, dude, you get above blue belt, and it's just like, that's the game now. That's just like the game that everyone's playing.
Yeah, I hated them for so long. I was in Jersey training at a Renzo Gracie affiliate, and they were heavy leg locks.
Yeah.
And